So we're just going to demonstrate the use of the error codes, or how C++ or Visual Studio tells us when something's gone wrong when we're compiling the program. So we're just using the Hangman 1 program here, so we'll just compile that just straight off just to see the output. So in the output window here, we can see that it's saying that build 0 succeeded, 0 failed, 1 was already up to date, and nothing was skipped. So it tells us what happened during the build when we compiled the program. So we don't have any problem there. It compiles correctly without any issues. Now, if we add in an error, what I'm going to do is take the struct function here, which takes two parameters or two arguments, and I'm just going to delete one out of there. Okay, so we've got an error. We can see that it's put the underline there, error, too few arguments in function call, but let's say we didn't pick that up, or that's not been shown. So if we now compile this, we'll build the solution, we can see in the output window that it says one of our things has failed. So one of our projects has failed to compile properly, doesn't build it. You can also see that the error here, so telling us what the file is, the hangman1.cpp. The number in the brackets is actually the line number. Tells us what the error is, error C2660, and it's saying struct function does not take one argument. Okay, so there should be two arguments, so it's saying doesn't take one argument, so we've got the number of arguments in there incorrect. Another way of looking at the errors is to view the error list. If we go to other windows in here and put on the error list, it actually gives us just a proper list of the errors, okay, which sometimes is easier to read. If we press F1 on the error, okay, it will sometimes give us some more information. If we're trying to get some extra details, okay, pressing F1 on there, normally takes us to the Microsoft website, the MSDN website, and it tells us a bit more about the compilation error. And here we've got an example that's telling us what went wrong, so that can sometimes be useful. Well, we know what we need to do to fix this. We need to put the second argument back in, or the second parameter back in. So if we do that, and then if we rebuild the solution, rebuild the problem here, we see that one succeeded correctly now. We go to our error list, we see there's no errors. We have got 3 warnings, but we won't worry about those too much. Just a quick look at those. Basically saying that the struct function might be considered unsafe because it's been, there's a better version to use, which is the struct_s. But we don't need to worry about that at the minute. But in an actual live program, then obviously security is an issue which you must take seriously. But we won't worry about that right now. So we've seen how the editor can tell us when there's an error. We can see that when we took something out, so let's take out that for instance, we can see that we've got a little underline here, and if we put our mouse over it, it gives us some more information. We can see that in the error list here, it tells us what errors have occurred when we tried to build the program, so that can help us track down when we've got some problems with the code. Now, sometimes the errors don't always look obvious. So for instance, let's say we forgot to put in the semicolon. If we compile that, obviously it fails. But if we look at the error list, it says int should be preceded by semicolon. And if we double click on that, which takes us to the line 19, it's actually taking us to this line. But there's no actual problem with this line. The error actually occurred with the line above because it was missing the semicolon. So just be aware that sometimes when you're trying to debug a program, although you might get an error showing up on a particular line, always have a look at the lines around it to see if the error actually occurs there rather than on the actual line that's being pointed to. So it's not always that line that will be the definite problem. Okay, so that was errors that will occur when we're compiling the program or building the program. There are other types of errors that can occur, and these are the runtime errors. Now, a runtime error will occur when the program is actually being run. The compiler won't pick up those problems and it won't give you any warning beforehand. So I can just create a quick runtime error here. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to comment out this line here. Oops, just comment out that line there. So that that's going to create as an error. If we build that, so just hit F7, you see that it's built fine. Yeah, we don't have any errors, so there's no problem there. But if we run that now, we shall get a runtime error. So we're running the program, but the program has failed somewhere. And it's telling us here that the variable word is being used without being initialized. That's because we commented out the strtoc finding the first word, so word hasn't got anything in it, so when we come to do this here we're getting an error because it hasn't been set up properly. So we can either break or continue. If we break, that will take us to the code, and you see it's put the little arrow on the line where we've sort of got the problem. And what we can do is we can actually examine some of the code while we're here. So sometimes have a look at the debug tutorials or the videos that I posted on Moodle. So if we can see here that Word has got some strange data in it. It's got this 0xccccc bad pointer. So something's gone wrong with this Word variable. So there's nothing in it, hasn't been set up properly, it's not very useful to us, and it's broken basically. So we can't really necessarily do anything about that right now. If we try and continue to run the program, we'll get the error again. We could try and continue, but we'll just keep getting lots more errors. So we're not going to get this program to finish properly. If we just go to the break, and we can use the stop debugging here, or we can actually do it in the menu to stop debugging, and that will actually stop the program. So we've seen two different types of error here. We've seen a compile error and a runtime error.